What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss that the Harry Potter Magic Awaken game is actually a Chinese RPG card game. So I want to talk about what that means. I'm sure some of you, or maybe even most of you, already know about this news, but I'm going to go over it very briefly for those that don't. And then I want to talk about basically what does that mean? What does that have in store for Harry Potter going forward, especially from the game that we thought we were like the open world RPG. The phrase RPG now is kind of a little bit saturated or like attacked because it's being used here too. So basically, by the time you guys are seeing this video, it was only around like 4 or 5 days ago from when this video is going up. So basically, the news is Warner Bros. And a Chinese game publisher, NetEase, they partnered to make a mobile game based off of Harry Potter, and it's called Magic Awaken. Now, and basically, it's just a card game that utilizes role-playing elements. The story takes place a few years after the Second Wizarding War and sees the player receive a letter of acceptance to Hogwarts before beginning their journey. It's going to be on iOS and Android, and may eventually come to the United States as well, or just everywhere besides just China. Man, oh man. Harry Potter Magic Awaken will restore all the spells, characters, and magic animals that fans know and love and present them in a unique visual image. This is tough. This is tough because you see this news story, and this is happening right now. Basically, pre-registration is open for it, and you look at it and you say, "Wow, it's got the name Magic Awaken." Now here's the deal. If you're looking for optimism for your PlayStation, Xbox, the open world, hopefully game that we still are actually going to get, Magic Awaken was just one of a few different names thrown around. I also believe it was like Magic Unleashed, something like that. There were other names thrown around for this title when it was first leaked last year. And another reason for optimism is the actual, what this game looks like, the actual features, or not actual features in terms of what you're actually going to be playing, but also, how the game looks, literally the visuals of this game. Nothing like what we saw last year in that leak. So if you're still optimistic, which, to be honest with you, mine's taken a hit, but I still do believe that game is being worked on. I think that Harry Potter in general is a franchise that they want to do more of. And you can even look to maybe Warner Bros. Just in general. Look at what they're doing with DC. They pretty much they have basically two teams, Warner Bros. Montreal and also Rocksteady. I'm sure some of you guys are here from those videos I've made on both. We don't technically know either of the games that those companies are making. We know Warner Bros. Montreal is actually making 2 games, but we are pretty safe to assume. In fact, I think Warner Bros. Montreal did actually confirm this, or somebody that worked there actually confirmed this a while ago, that they are DC games. So basically what I'm saying is they have 2 companies and 3 games in all being worked on for the DC universe, whether it's Batman, whether it's Arkham, whether it's Suicide Squad, Justice League, whatever. It's all part of that property. So what does that tell you? That tells you that Warner Bros. Wants maybe even multiple things going on at the same time for a specific property. So right now, this is just in China. This Harry Potter Magic Awaken, it's just in China. It's a card game. It's on your Android and on iOS. I'm sure there'll be a ton of microtransactions involved. This isn't this isn't even close to the same thing. The only worrying thing about it is that it kept that name. Magic Awaken was that #1 name that was thrown around from the very beginning last year, okay? And also that synopsis of being invited to Hogwarts and going and stuff like that. That is reminiscent. That reminds me of the kind of stuff that we heard. Now, it doesn't sound like it's the exact same thing. We're not a fifth-year college. And that's the other point is we heard a lot about this game last year, that you're a fifth-year college student, that there'll be customization, you'll be able to create your character, that you'll be able to go, Forbidden Forest, you'll be able to explore Hogwarts, you'll be able to take classes, all this stuff. These things aren't going to be in the card game. So while the Magic Awaken title has been taken, and maybe you look at that and say, well, then the whole leak's off because Magic Awaken, and you hear RPG as well. You remember, this is what we thought of Magic Awaken was an open world RPG. And now there's a Chinese card game that is an RPG. So the word, again, like I said in the beginning of this video, the phrase RPG, I feel like is going to have a bitter taste, every time you say it, because it's not even the same. It's not even close to comparing them, but that's just kind of what we get. So, to be honest, the more I'm talking about it in this video, the more I'm not necessarily worried about it. The name, yeah, that is probably the only worrisome thing. I don't like that name has been taken. That does, I think, throw the leaks off just a little bit. But at the same time, the stuff that they said you were able to do, the company themselves or the developers that they said were going to be making this Harry Potter game, they still exist. They're still out there. So I still believe a lot of what we heard last year. I still think a lot of it is pretty accurate. I still think a Harry Potter game is being made, and we've talked about it a lot. Could it come out in 2020? Has it been like delayed or has been pushed or whatever was the plan all along? Been to line it up with the third Fantastic Beasts movie, even though that movie was delayed. It was supposed to come out in the fall of 2020, and now it's coming out in the fall of 2021. So there's still a lot of time. I know we've made videos saying like, when are we going to get this announcement? I still think we could probably see something this year's E3. I don't think it's wildly. I don't think that's a wild thing to say. Basically, if it comes out in 2020, I think we could see it E3. If it doesn't come out in 2020, E3 you could still show it because you could still have build up. We've talked about a lot with Warner Bros. Just in general, they are kind of a publisher that they announce their game and then bam, it comes out 4, 6, 8 months at the absolute latest after the announcement, right? And anything later than that, they really don't love to do all that much. But that's kind of just that's who they are. That's what Warner Bros. Likes to do, just in general. So if we don't see it this E3, I wouldn't be worried. However, with this being out there now, especially if it does come to America, and people start to hear, here's the deal: there's not that many people that know about the leaks for Magic Awaken. There were some very, very big videos made last year, even videos that we made on this channel, which isn't the biggest channel in the world. We got some pretty solid views as well from it. So there are people that have watched the videos and know, but how many, really? Is there 1 million people, maybe 1 million, 2 million people that know that this game could be happening? How many people kind of pieced out and kind of maybe even forgot about it? There's not the biggest group out there, but still, if this game does come out everywhere and it starts picking up steam and they're like, and I think, Warner Bros. Is a big publisher, so you would think they would want to get this out as far as they possibly can. So if it does come to America or does come basically to anywhere but China, China is still, that's a big deal that's coming out in China, but if it starts to expand territories, you may start to hear people say hey, wait, wasn't that I heard of Magic Awaken? And then they're going to look it up, and then they'll probably just find stories of the card game. When I was reading the articles, and I'm not necessarily sure if I've had the pictures posted for you guys, but I read 3 different articles about this. None of them made any point to say, this is a little weird because the name Magic Awaken was, none of them saw that. I read 3 different articles, and all 3 of them only, they reported on the news. They only talked about the fact that this game exists, and they showed the tweet that said, hey, this is, official, and here's the pre-registration, all that stuff. But none of them said, this coincides, or this doesn't necessarily mash with, or what does this mean for that Harry Potter game we saw last year, last year in October when the leaks came out. None of them are posing that question, which kind of tells you, do they even remember? Did they all forget about it? So very, very interesting. I wouldn't necessarily be all that worried about it, to be honest with you. Another way of looking at it is it could just be so far out that it's why would you, you don't need to get so bent out of shape for it if it's 2 years out in the first place. I get it if you're upset. I get it if you're mad. That's totally cool. I don't think it means anything, or it means as much as what people may think. I think, I've seen a couple people comment too on the last Harry Potter video I made. People did say hey, did you see it's a card game? And they also in the same comment would say I'm still hoping. I think that's where a lot of people are at with Harry Potter. I think right now Harry Potter's in a nice spot. Unlike the Warner Bros. Arkham game, the Warner Bros. Montreal's Arkham game, Harry Potter's where people are you know what? I want it to be real. I love the idea of it. If it comes out fantastic, I think one day we're gonna get a game like everybody's pretty optimistic and saying you know what? It may come, and hopefully it comes, and if it comes, it's going to be the greatest thing ever. You know what? No panic. This thing got announced. Yeah, it's a Chinese game. You know what? Whatever. It could still happen. Pretty darn calm, unlike the Warner Bros. Montreal people. I love both kinds of people when you guys comment and you guys are participating in these videos. It's totally cool with me. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think that this card game has any effect on what we heard of of Harry Potter Magic Awakened. Obviously, now if the game comes out, this open world one where you would play it on your console, that game will not be called Magic Awakened. It would be something else. So what do you think this changes besides the name of this other Harry Potter game? Let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast. Now hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you, as always, for watching. I hope to see you all on the next video.